Yo, what's up? This is Uncle Hollywood from Hollywood's Journeys. Today I'm going to talk a little bit on some taxi tips for about 4 or 5 countries that I seem to have issues with. First one would be Italy. When you get out of either of the 2 airports, it's usually almost $50 to $100 to take a cab into Rome. They do have Uber, but Uber is more expensive than the taxi cabs. I recommend downloading My Taxi. It's an app, cheaper than Uber, cheaper than the taxi cabs. It's called My Taxi. Just make sure you always get receipts. They email them right to you. If you have any disputes, they do have an office that you can contact. But once again, anywhere in Italy, mainly Rome and the major cities, they have My Taxi. I would highly recommend that app. They're not paying me for it. I used it all the time when I was there, and it saved me a lot of euros. So, once again, My Taxi. Now, when I'm going to reach out a little bit and talk about my experiences when I was in Paris and France. The scam they actually try to pull on you is they charge the meter on the way to pick you up. So when you get into the taxi, I would check the meter and see if it already has been started, because they say in Paris they always start the meter to go pick up the person, and that is not true. So always check your meters. You should do that anywhere in the world, but especially in Paris and some of the major cities around France. They try to rip you off, especially if you're an American, I'm sorry to say, but if you're an American, they're going to try to rip you off even more because they're not big fans of us. They seem to be a little bit more rude, and so just watch yourself over there. I'll have other stories about Paris, France. I'm not a big fan of that place. I mean, the Eiffel Tower is nice, but a lot of hotels don't have air conditioning. It's overpriced. I did have a great Italian spaghetti there, though, I'll tell you that much. So, Rome, I would take My Taxi. In Paris, France, or anywhere around the major cities of France, always check to see if they started the meter before they got you. That's a big scam they do over there. In Serbia, getting out of the airport late at night, you kind of sometimes seem to be, I have to get anything that feels safe to get to where I'm going. They'll have Mercedes and BMWs and nice cars sitting out front of the airport when you leave in Serbia or get in, leaving the airport. They usually charge about $20 American, so be careful. Once again, I always try to take the taxis. There's a line you have to get into to get the taxi, and then somebody tells them where you're going, so it's a little bit more legit. If you want to be on a little fishy side and maybe pick up things that a normal taxi guy wouldn't tell you, where to go, how to get stuff, what's the better places, and you want to spend the extra $10 and go in style, then take the Mercedes. But a lot of times you're going to have to haggle, work out a deal with them. My guy wanted 40, I got him down to 20. They're going to try to get you as much as possible. It's not a rich country over there. Serbia used to be Yugoslavia. But I'll tell you what, the clubs on their boats off the river are off the hook. They have a whole line of clubs that are in boats, and some of these DJs are pretty damn good. On further clips, I'll have my nightlife clips, and one of those places will be in there. So once again, Rome, My Taxi. Anywhere in France, always check the meter before you get in. That's a big scam. Serbia, if you want to have a cheaper taxi ride, stand in line. If you want to have a little bit more of something of the other side, if you kind of know what I'm saying, then take the more expensive ride, but you'll get better information for nightlife and things of that nature. Montenegro, if you're going to stay in Bar or anywhere kind of in Montenegro, you're going to need to rent a car. Taxis are a little expensive, And if you think you're going to walk around, especially in Bar, there's no walking where you're going to be staying. You're usually staying up a hill. There's a lot of hills. So by the end of the day, wherever you're staying, you're going to have to walk up them and down them. And it's pretty far depending where you're going. I would rent a car. And then you can go see a little bit more of Montenegro in the car. Things are closer. So those are my 4 countries I'm going to put into. My next clip will be 4 more. And Hollywood out. Brush your teeth for the White Monkey Syndicate. Yo, welcome back to Hollywood's Journey. Uncle Hollywood coming at you. Few tips. When you get to Amsterdam, I don't believe you need to have a taxi. The transit there is really good. You can get right on a train or a bus and take you right into the city center, and you could walk anywhere. What I would suggest is renting a bicycle when you're there, and because you're going to be drinking, you're going to be smoking, you might even be doing a little bit of the spacey cakes, and driving around or having somebody drive you around could be pretty dangerous. So I would suggest getting a bicycle, and then, you know how they have pub crawls at hostels? Well, I do a 420 crawl. I just put on my Google Maps, put in coffee shops, and I ride my bike to each coffee shop and do my own little crawl. Once again, in Amsterdam, you don't need a taxi. The transportation is really good there, and if you did get a taxi, it's pretty expensive. Another place, Budapest. Hungary, just in case you don't know. It's pretty cheap to get into the city from the airport, so the taxis are very, very well seen. You can get them anywhere. My one suggestion would be to purchase hop on, hop off when you get there. It takes you all around the city. I believe it's $2 or $3. And you can get off wherever you'd like to get off, and you can do that throughout the day. So if you're drinking a little bit and you're partying, and I believe it runs 24 hours, the hop on, hop off will save you a few dollars. Plus you get to see the city a little bit more. When you get to other countries, like I said before, the taxis are pretty good. Just remember to always check the meter. Budapest, I enjoyed a lot because of the hop on, hop off, and it drops you pretty much off in front of all the spas and the bars. So it's a good way to transport yourself around Budapest. As far as Poland goes, once again, these cheaper countries aren't too bad for taxis. You can get them pretty cheap. I would rent a scooter depending where you are in Poland and the time of the year. That might be a good bet. You get to see a little bit more because some things are totally across town, and then you got to go across. After a while, it might spend you a few bucks. You might just be better off getting a scooter of some sort. Copenhagen. When you get to Denmark, do not purchase the city pass. Do not purchase the $70 city pass. You don't need it. It's a waste of money. Once again, you could rent a bicycle and drive around. You could rent a scooter and drive around. It is definitely walkable. You can walk that whole city from Christiania all the way over to the new library. It might take you 20, 30 minutes, but everything's walkable. So definitely don't get the transportation pass for Denmark. You can definitely get away without using it and save $70. And I would do that with most of the countries I go to. I wouldn't get their transportation passes or anything, because you can, if you get on a tram and they check you, you can always say, oh, I'm a stupid tourist. They usually let you go once, and then if you feel like you want to get one, you can get it, because they run pretty good dollar and you don't really need it. So I'm hoping this helps you out a little bit. If you have any questions, once again, leave them in the comments. I will get back to you. I'm trying to get a little bit of these videos put out. I was sick for the last week or 2 weeks almost. you do get sick here in Vietnam. Between pollution and I'm teaching all the kids or the youth and high-fiving them all the time will get you sick. So hopefully my videos will help you out. And once again, subscribe, like, share, notify, whatever you got to do, do it. Hollywood out.